Welcome to the Elite BSC podcast, where our entire focus is helping commercial janitorial contractors succeed. You want a growing company, a thriving team, and healthy profits, and we are here to help. My name is Jordan Tong. I'm the founder of Elite BSC, a company dedicated to helping janitorial companies grow and thrive. I also serve as CEO and one of the owners of France Building Services. France is a janitorial company employing nearly 600 people. Since 2007, we grew from 1.5 million to more than 20 million in annual revenue and built what I think is one of the best teams in the world. The goal of Elite BSC and this podcast is to give owners in the industry a vision of where their company can be and the information and tools to get there. I want to share what I have learned over the years to make this a reality for you. Hey guys, Jordan Tong, your host of the Elite BSC podcast. So today I've got a episode that is it's similar to one of the ones we've done in the past, maybe a month ago. This is an interview that we did with a company called Patton Building Services based out of West Virginia. So part of our Elite BSC group that we have, it's a membership group for owners of commercial cleaning companies. And we produce content every week to go out to our members, content that we hope is helpful in building and scaling their businesses. One of the things that we do is occasionally we'll do interviews with other companies in the industry that have been successful and have achieved some measure of success that we know a lot of other people would like to get to. And, you know, it's sort of surprising sometimes what it is that causes that success. What is it that makes one company, you know, be able to thrive and grow and scale, and others struggle there. And some people make that leap in, you know, a year or in a few years. So I know some people that have, you know, just grown and just seen crazy amounts of growth and development in their company over a period of just, you know, a relatively short period of time, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. And then others, you see them plugging away over the long haul and making gains year over year, decade over decade. And you see a foundation built, and there's something special that remains over the years there. And Patton is in this latter group. It's a family-owned company that's multi-generational. I personally have gotten to know them quite well. They're one of the early members of the Elite BSC group, and they're great people. They're from West Virginia. I'm from Kentucky, so a lot of the classic jokes about hillbillies are aimed at us Kentuckians and West Virginians. So the Pattons and I have a little bit in common in terms of being on the receiving end of that and fighting that stereotype. But us hillbillies can be successful as well. So I hope this interview is enjoyable and encouraging to you. Jeff Carmen who is our VP of Sales at our cleaning company, France Building Services, now works in Elite BSC with me. Hosts this interview or is the interviewer, and who you hear on here is Mark Patton, who's the founder of the company and the dad, and then you hear his son Stephen on the interview as well. So I hope this is helpful, and sit back and enjoy and listen to this. If you have any questions or want to learn more information, you can reach out to me. If you go to elitebsc.com, there's tons of information on there. There's ways to contact. You can get our contact information, that sort of thing, elitebsc.com. So I hope this interview with the Pattons is helpful, and enjoy.
Well, hey, Elite BSCs, it's Jeff here. Hope you're doing well. Today I have two very special guests. I have Mark and Stephen Patton with Patton Building Services. And man, we've just, in my time being in the industry, I've gotten to know Mark and Stephen as they've come to a couple of our workshops and gotten to meet some of their staff. They're just outstanding individuals, outstanding people, and based on what I hear, they just run a fantastic company. And so I think you're going to get to hear a lot of great things from these guys. But just Mark and Stephen, thanks for agreeing to do this.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
Yeah. So let's jump in, and I like to do, for lack of a better word, kind of a speed round where I'll ask a few questions, and you can just share some things about your organization so the people who are watching this just get a good feel for, kind of where you serve and those kinds of things. So let's start, Mark, with where are you guys headquartered?
Okay, our headquarters is located in Morgantown, West Virginia. It's about 6 miles south of the Pennsylvania-West Virginia border.
Okay.
And so it's in north central West Virginia.
And that happens to be the capital of West Virginia. Is that correct?
It's not the capital, but it is the West Virginia University is located here. So it's a pretty cosmopolitan town for the size of it.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I should have paid a little bit more attention in geography class.
No worries.
Also, I went to the University of Tennessee, so we didn't get any of the real facts there. So, all right. So that's where your headquarters is. So, talk a little bit about what's your service footprint. Where do you serve customers in geography, from a geography standpoint?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So we pretty much cover the entire state of West Virginia, at least the populated areas of West Virginia. There are 8 or 9 cities in the state that we service. We have small branch offices in 2 or 3 of those towns. And then one of our customers a few years ago that we successfully landed took us, it was branch banking, that took us into parts of Eastern Ohio and parts of Western Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And another small branch banking opportunity took us into Kentucky. We just bleed over into the border counties of Kentucky, across the river from Huntington, West Virginia.
Okay, very good, very good. So you guys are pretty spread out.
Pretty spread out, yeah. And that's the challenge of our market. It's a very rural state, and so yeah, we got to be where the population bases are, and they're kind of far flung.
Yeah, and I've driven through West Virginia quite a bit. There is, in between the population areas, there's places where there's not very much population. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the types of customers you serve, kind of segments or verticals that you guys work in.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So historically, we've been really strong in branch banking, covering multiple areas with branch banking. There's probably 8 to 10 local, regional banks that we service in our market. And so that's been a big part of our business. The other strong area for us has been medical facilities. And more recently, we've been getting into local government, counties and cities, and doing those successfully. And I think as people have looked to outsource, to go from in-house cleaning to outsourcing their janitorial, these have been primary targets. We've picked up a couple recently that were very good accounts for us. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And your medical, is it mostly medical outpatient, like physicians' offices, surgery centers, those kinds of things?
Exactly. Medical clinics. Yeah. So, and most of those range 5 to 7 days a week, depending on what type of facility it is. So, yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So, Stephen, I'll kind of shift over to you. Tell us a little bit about where you guys are from a revenue standpoint. Kind of where would you find your range of total revenue for your organization annual?
We're right in that $8 million annual revenue range. So, and fluctuating a little bit, up and down there, obviously. But looking toward moving toward that $10 million range, hopefully in the next few years. So within that kind of 5-year goal range. Yep.
Sure. Okay. And tell us number of employees and kind of break it down as in what you've got in terms of corporate staff / support staff, field leaders, and then cleaners.
Sure. So we've got just 2 separate division managers on the operations side, 5 to 7 people kind of in our headquarters and main offices. Then we have about, I think, 8 area managers right now that work directly under those division managers.
Okay.
Total employees, we're looking about 275, 280 right now.
Okay.
And a little bit of a shift from probably fewer part-time people than we've had in the past to more full-time. Just kind of been the nature of it, where people have been looking, I think, for more full-time work. So not necessarily intentional, but it has shifted in that way the last year or so.
And you mentioned having 2 kind of their divisions, or those regional manager positions? Is that what you call them?
A regional manager. We call them a division manager, but regional manager.
And are they kind of split, like half of the staff works for one and half the staff? Is it pretty well evenly split?
It's probably right now. It's probably about 1/3, 2/3.
Okay. Okay.
It's probably in that range right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but looking to grow, both divisions, but especially the smaller one there.
Okay.
So,
okay. Very good. And then the last thing in this kind of speed round is share with us just, I think it's helpful for everybody to kind of learn a little bit about the different tools that we're using to run our business. Kind of talk to us about, what you're using for accounting, payroll, inspections, sales. Just kind of describe some of the tools that you're using.
We've been using Win Team for a good long time. I think we started on Team back in the mid-90s.
Okay. Okay.
So
been
using Team for quite a long time. Yeah. So been using that. We recently adopted Quantech, which is now higher there through WorkWave. So we adopted that about a year and a half ago. So it's made a little bit of a transition there. We do use a payroll company, which has worked well, and it's I think the initial price there seems high, but they do a lot for us. So that's been pretty good.
Yeah.
As far as CRM goes, we've been using Pipedrive the last couple of years. So we got a lot of stuff, a lot of potential clients, added in there, but always room to work in those systems more.
Yeah. So you use Team for, you mentioned, do you use it for payroll? Is that payroll runs through there? Or do you use payroll service outside?
Our payroll is separate, though. We use Paychex.
Okay. Paycheck. And that doesn't, it's interesting. We had kicked the tires a little bit on Paycom as our payroll, but Paychex, like Paycom, probably doesn't interface with Win Team. Is that correct?
No. Right. So it does add a step on the onboarding side of things. Yeah, so everything gets entered a couple times.
Yeah, but the like Paycom that we looked at Paychex, there's a lot of value to there's a lot of things that kind of come out of that program that's very helpful. It'd just be nice if it spoke with Team.
It'd be nice if they integrated. That would be super awesome. Nice. Yeah, but they do.
It would.
And none of them do. Paycom doesn't. Right. I think ADP has some sort of connection there. It's worked well. It hasn't been. We've been doing the system for quite some time, so it's pretty seamless process at this point.
Sure. And then you also do your quality inspections through Win Team. Is that right?
No, we actually use Spartan's product. They've got Clean Check. If you spend so much with Spartan a year, it's it's very inexpensive add-on.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, we added that there 3 or 4 years ago or something. So
very good. Very good.
It's simple. It's straightforward. We get some good work ordering systems out of it, and it's been helpful.
Very good. I think you're the first. I don't know that I've spoken with somebody who uses Spartan system, but we use Spartan chemicals as well. So that's interesting. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, so the bottom line, what you got to spend on Spartan isn't that much. Right. So, most of us probably hit it. Right.
That's right. That's right.
It's not too hard to hit the number. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's segue now. Let's talk a little bit. I want to cover 2 questions, and I'll let Mark kind of get the first one. I'll let Stephen get the second one. The first one is just really kind of, I think this will be very interesting to people. How your organization got started. What's the history of Patton Building Services, and kind of lead us up to where you are today.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, I love to share the story. You could say that kind of all began with 2 brothers. I had an older brother that was in the military in Germany as a commissioned officer, and he was getting out of the military, and he came back to get his master's in business administration. And I had a job at the time that I was not particularly happy with, and I didn't see a future in it. And so I'd worked my way through college cleaning, and so I had this idea of starting a cleaning company. Shared the story with my older brother, and he says, "Yeah, I think I'd like to help you with that." He was single and had some disposable income, so he wrote me out a check for $6,000, and he said, "By the way, I've got this Kirby vacuum cleaner that somebody talked me into buying. I don't need that. You can have it." So that's how I got started, and that was in January of 1981. And my brother, who had another full-time job working as a finance director at the University Hospital, work part-time in the evenings doing all the books, the accounting, the payroll. And so he did that on a part-time basis, and I did the operations and the stills. So we started in January of 1981, and just grew a little bit every year, Jeff. We just were continually blessed and grew the business organically. And yeah, so my brother always, he's 7 years older than me, by the way. He has since retired. I've bought him out. And now we are transitioning to the second generation. My daughter Jennifer is vice president of our company. She's been involved in the business for probably 13, 14 years now. And Stephen came on board about 5, 6 years ago. Stephen's been promoted and now serves as the president of the company. So they are in the process of buying me out. I told them all along, you can come on board, but this business is my retirement. And so they're in the process of buying me out now, and so we've got that set up, and so it's really satisfying to have the second generation stepping into those positions of leadership, and it's satisfying as a parent to see your kids doing well, and really, yeah, so they've stepped up in those positions really well. And so, yeah, so probably I'm a year or two away from transitioning out completely and retiring and selling off into the sunset. But yeah, it's been a fun process to see them own it and step up.
That's a great story. You know, it's interesting too. I have a ton of respect for people who have that entrepreneurial spirit, who can really start from the ground up, which is what you and your brother did. And I think that's amazing. And then secondly is just the legacy that you leave. And, every business owner, every entrepreneur faces that. When my time is out, what do I have here? What's my legacy? So it's really cool enough for you to be able to hand it off to your kids. And then hopefully, that carries on and to their kids and the next generation. So man, I know you're proud. That's a testimony to hard work and ingenuity and all of those things, and just putting your trust and faith in the Lord and allowing Him to help you in that as well. I know that's important as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now we're up to this point, and Stephen is got the key leadership role in the organization. Tell us, and I think this is good for everyone to hear as well. So if we were to step into business meetings that are going on at Patton Building Services, what are the projects you're working on? What are challenges you might be facing? And then, maybe what are some opportunities that might be kind of on your plate right now? Just kind of tell us a little bit about that, Stephen.
Sure, yeah. So we've been running on the Traction EOS model here for several years. We brought an implementer in there at one point, probably 3.5 years ago. I was not in the role that I currently am in now at that time. But that really kind of started the process to ultimately move me into that president role. Yeah. And it's been really good. So it gives us really good structure in our meetings. So, we're not running on for 3 hours. Again, an hour and a half. We're in and we're out. We're doing meetings consistently. Yeah. So that's been a super big part of just kind of building the company culture. Yeah. It's been really good, and it's been great. I had kind of a teaching career before coming back to work for the family business. So did that for about a decade, and kind of that transition back into the business. Always knew I had the opportunity. Sure. But I wasn't pushed and pushed into it. So that was really a pretty cool blessing there.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, keep going.
Yeah, big picture, what we're looking at, we've got some great relationships. We've had good long-term business. We're really looking at setting up, some key business centers in the major cities in West Virginia. There's not a lot of the big national contractors in our state, so we are fortunate in that way. But as we spoke about earlier, a lot of the big cities in West Virginia are really dispersed. There's like 5 or 6 big cities. Yeah. And the furthest ones apart are almost 6 hours away from each other. Yeah. So it's a big geographic distance. So getting a team in each one of those cities, having the capacity to take on medium to large size jobs, in all those areas where we have a team, we have an area manager that would report to one of our regional managers.
Yeah.
That's really the big picture. We like my dad said earlier, we have had some success with some of the county government jobs. And we have some experience with it. So that's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also looking into, to more, other medical facilities, West Virginia University Medicine, to big medical, they're statewide kind of medical provider here in the state. So we've done a lot of their, we've worked well with them, but there's other opportunities outside of that as well.
And so you're looking at your I guess, strategy for growth would just be continue to serve in the markets that you're serving and grow organically in those versus maybe, hey, we're going to seek out, an acquisition partner that might be in Pennsylvania or someplace else. You're going to continue to serve customers well and continue to grow organically through the existing types of segments you're currently serving. Yeah,
exactly. And we've recently hired a salesperson on here, so we're looking at that organic growth.
Sure.
Looking at that, kind of that top line 10% growth is kind of the goal.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we're looking at right now. Looking at growing in some of the other cities in West Virginia that we don't have quite as strong of a presence in.
Yeah.
But we have good teams. We have some structure and some basis for growth in those areas.
Yeah.
So
is there any particular thing that I guess poses? Oh, I should ask it this way. Besides employee turnover, what are is there a particular challenge? Like, have you all like standardizing your processes? Is that something that you go, yeah, we got that covered, or is that something you're currently working on right now?
That's a good example. A couple of things. Actually, one of our strengths has always actually been low turnover.
Very good.
So low turnover is maybe one of our saving graces the past few years. It's been under 70% the last couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I think even lower in 23 than it was in 22.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the low turnover has definitely been good. And I attribute that a lot to we've got people that have been working with it for us for a long time. Yeah. They're comfortable, they're stable in what they do. They're consistent and reliable, and they show up. So we have that core. Yeah. Most of that turnover is in that first 3 month. So right, where people really aren't settled into the job yet. They don't really know. And so to your point about the processes, that is definitely an area for growth, is standardizing that process. So people know on day one what they're getting into. And we've got a process for, their first week on the job. Really, we've been really working on that the last year or so. We're really trying to standardize our training process and what we're saying to a new employee on days 1, 2, and 3, really getting them to first base.
Right.
That has been a real big focus for us here. And just strategizing about what works best, try different things. But it's definitely been a process.
And I'll tell you, the standardizing the processes, and I'm sure you all are feeling this for sure, it gets more difficult as you get more spread out.
Sure.
If you've got all of your people in one place, it's much easier to get one communication out to everybody. But when you've got leaders stuck, kind of strewn across the state, it creates a little bit of a challenge to do that.
It is.
Well, that's very
With EOS, we've gone to actually having some quarterly meetings with all of our area managers. So we're really working on that. So we're getting all the information out there with in-person meetings. So we're meeting face to face and getting out to those kind of farther corners of the business as well.
That's super important for sure. So as we wrap up here, I think it's also, I always like for the folks to learn a little bit about you personally. So Mark, what do you, when you're not working, what do you do outside of work? What are your hobbies? What's your passions?
Gotcha. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of hobbies really. My son-in-law got me into golfing a few years ago, and so started that late in life. But my real hobbies are my 9 grandchildren. I have 4 that live in Indianapolis, and then I have the other 5 that live here close to us in Morgantown. So that's I spend a lot of time with that, and then I'm very active in our church as well. I teach a couple of classes, adult classes, one on Sunday, one on Wednesday, and so I enjoy the prep for that. Learn a lot when I prep, when I teach, and serve as the head elder at our church as well. So I love the fellowship, the friends and family that I fellowship with on a Sunday. So very important to me, and I love serving the Lord.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I guess that's probably some of your grandchildren's artwork behind you. Either that or that's a stress reliever for you. And
no, that is one of the grandkids. You can only see one of the pictures there. My wall's pretty well decorated up, and I can't take them down because every time they show up at the office, or that's the first thing, they come for some candy and they come to see if the pictures are still up.
That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Stephen, tell us about you. What do you get to do outside of work?
Yeah, well, I'm raising 3 of those grandkids.
Yes.
So I got 3 of them. My wife and I have 3 of them ourselves, and so they're 4-year-old, 4, 6, and 9.
Oh wow! Yeah, you
so
are.
That keeps us busy. But my wife and I really like to get out in the outdoors. We're part of the same church with my dad there, and so I help lead the boys' outdoor program on Wednesday nights. So that's been fun. Play lots of dodgeball, shoot rockets, do stuff like that with the boys. Just help them be boys. And just be a positive male role model for those guys. So that's been super fun. And then just teaching the kids, getting them in church. And then getting them in the outdoors and going on some fun trips. This year's been fun. Getting my 9-year-old, he's getting to the point where he's starting to keep up. So he learned how to ski this winter. That was super fun, and starting to do some fun rock climbing adventures with him too. So
cool. West Virginia is a great state for that, isn't it? If you like outdoors, West Virginia is excellent for that. Yeah, it
is. Yep. So I took Asher. This is a picture of Asher and I at the top of Seneca Rocks. So we went up to Seneca Rocks this past summer and got to go climb to the top of the mountain there. So it was awesome. Fun day this past year. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yep. Well, guys, we really appreciate. I'll just say from a personal standpoint, I love being around you all. You guys are, in this industry, we all we might compete against one another, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to serve customers well and serve our teams well, and in your all's case, trying to serve the Lord well, and create something that's lasting. And you guys are doing it in an excellent way. So it's always a pleasure getting to see you, and I just appreciate you spending a few minutes telling the rest of the group about your company. So anyway, thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
If you found the information in this podcast helpful, please like and subscribe on whatever podcast platform that you're using. If you would like more resources or help to grow your cleaning company, head over to elitebsc.com. We have loads of articles, videos, free tools, coaching options, and a lot more. If your company is greater than $500K in revenue and you want to take your learning experience to the next level, check out our mastermind group. You can learn more about that at elitebsc.com/mastermind.